Hello there, YouTube! Welcome back, Legends Playground. Western Bulldogs and Port Adelaide here today. My goodness. Okay, so my brain is a bit scrambled. It's a bit scrambled right now. We just come from the Marvel's Avengers. This is our recording-wise. This is the last game on the day, so I've gone through as much of the other stuff as I can, and my man, I'm a tired boy, but we come into this. Hopefully we get some good stuff going, you know? Maybe think of something to talk about. It'll be good there. Yes. We go with this way. Very good. Who has that? Oh, Port Adelaide and the Bulldogs. Little chips and handballs and oopsies. Oh, it's holding the ball, okay. Come this way.
Kicks to center wing.
Okay, Mr. Richards, Bunting-Pilly. Who we have here? So, in terms of things to talk about, I saw Mr. Danny Ricciardo. I saw Ricciardo, got himself in the F1. He got promoted. He got the AlphaTauri. He is back on the grid. Very nice to see. It's actually even a bit better for me, because I have a long-term bet going, and it involved F1. There was like F1 head-to-heads, but in terms of the teams, and one of them I had involved in it was the AlphaTauri, and I had like Sonoda to beat the Freeze. So with the Freeze getting sacked, I feel pretty good about it. Oh, I don't know, I feel pretty good about it. So it's like, it's actually looking quite nice, because I had it had Verstappen being on top of Perez, Alonso to be on top. What were the other two? There was Albon, which is looking good, and Hulkenberg over Magnussen, which at the moment he's in front. So it's like half a season to go, I think, or about that. Hey, there's a goal there. So all those 5 things, they're just a part of something. They're just a part of something. But having all that look good, like having one of them basically already like cash out immediately is like already. It's like, that's cool. That makes me happy. Mr. Port. Long-term bets are very scary though. And they're scary because it's like you're just looking at them and you're like, you can't touch them. You're just like, they're just there.
Wins a hard ball. They've worked it well. Delightfully.
Like, it's definitely a bit different doing it that way. It's not something I do like a lot of, but because it's like I'm used to like the short-term bets of like you play something and then they like tend to place within the day or week, you know? Get rid of that.
He's so good.
Could you please come get that with Mr. Port? So having like a long-term thing, it feels much more like an investment, like a full-time investment of, I think this is going to happen over a span of like 6 months, you know? Like this could cash out like 6 months from now. It's like, it does feel weird having it like that. But that's where they got going.
And we'll have a stoppage near the center.
I used to have like my emotional investment in betting be like a lot more. It used to be very, very high. I remember, how long ago was it? I would have, I remember the situation was my brother left his wife split up, right? That happened. And timing-wise, actually, I was playing an AFL season. This would have been a few years ago, so I think this would have been 2020. Get the chip down there. And by the time I finished up, I do Brownlow medals for my season as well. I keep track of my 3-to-1. I do my Brownlow medals. And when I had finished that, I still had Brownlow fever. My brother happened to be him and my dad happened to place bets for the Brownlow. Now, things just happened to turn out. I went, I eventually found myself interested in getting in on it because I was still in Brownlow fever. So I found myself getting into it. I really liked getting into it. I made a bit of a profit from it. So then I found myself. I did sports bet stuff a little bit, and then I really found myself liking a site called Draft Stars, right? And that's all very much like fantasy, think like fantasy sports, but then with money. So that's what that was, and I found myself in those, right? And I was doing the women's cricket. Like I'd never actually watched like a women's Big Bash game before, but then because I was like betting on it, I got into it. I really liked it actually. And then I was doing that for like different types of sports and like looking through the YouTube. I was in the NFL. I was watching YouTube stuff and trying to have that help me out and everything, you know. So yeah, and it was like I was very into it. Like my sleep schedule would be based around it, based around like, oh, this sport is on at this time and I want to do that, so that I would move it all around, right? And I guess like over time, just sport by sport, I found myself dipping out one by one. So I guess nowadays with Draft Stars at least, I don't actually like have any money in it at the moment. I still like look at it. Like it does help me out to like look at it, but I guess this last year and stuff, I just sort of I've gone away from it now. Hasn't been as profitable for me as I would have hoped. I had things that would be successful, but come with that, it just not enough for me to have the investment for it, you know. But okay, we go over here. How's it going, Cam? I'm just talking about my betting history, my history of my betting over the past few years, and how I'm still doing it. Like nowadays, I don't feel like I'm like super heavy into it, but that's in comparison to where I was. Like I still, every week I have my AFL stuff I got going, which usually just misses out. So usually that's how it goes. It's usually very close, but doesn't quite happen. Which is hard, which is why like I think it helps make me want to keep doing it, especially because when you're like you're right there all the time, you're like, I should be able to get this, why am I just missing out so much? Go over here. But yeah, I still do like my weekly thing, so that's something I've been doing throughout the season. There's actually been some successes in there, which have been good. But hopefully I'll be able to hopefully it'll be good for the rest of the season. But I do see myself doing it less and less, you know, like at the moment my emotional investment in it is a lot lower than it was when it was like my thing, when it was like my thing that I was doing, like and then like things not working out, it would take a real big hit on me emotionally. Hey. So to be at a point where I'm at, where I have some other stuff going, it feels good. So I'm able to just kind of like do it, and then like I want things to work, you know, like I don't want to just keep losing all the time. Like when it happens enough times, it's like it doesn't make me feel good. But there we go. It's at a nice place, I think, for me at the moment.
This is what he gets paid to do, kick these goals.
Mr. Baker, let's see what he gets. That's not going to come back. I still look at the NBA though. Like this past season of the NBA, I had been doing NBA stuff through the seasons. I remember having like a really weirdly good patch. Not last year, but the year before. Like first few months, it was actually like really good, and then it just like collapsed. And that happened a couple of times, but yeah. Like I can still remember this past year having a day like when the season started, this past one, it was like, it wasn't the first day of the season because the first day doesn't have many games. But that second day, I was like, I remember I was just like, I took like a full 8-9 hour shift, which was just going through all the games. It was just going through all of them. And at the end of it, my leg was so sore for hours. It did not feel good.
Scott absorbs the pressure.
But it's interesting to know, like, I can go and do that. I can do like that past NBA season. I was betting and on it like every single day, and it was not a winning season for me. I did get lucky that I actually had like Larry Markkinen to win Most Improved, which, like, why did I have him? Because just some YouTube person, like, there was literally not much of a reason to it whatsoever, but it just kind of worked out for me. Like, that was pretty much dumb luck. Like, there was no other real, like, stuff going on in there, but that just helped me out a bit. But I look forward into the next season saying I can see myself going with it in terms of at least when it begins. But I think as the season died down, I found myself in a situation that made me think that next season could be something that there could be something worthwhile going with for me. But next season might be my last season. I don't know.
Gary Lyon is with us. What do you make of this one, Gaz?
It's interesting. It's like a little period of my life where it might be coming to a close. It might be at its. It might like be in a slot in my life that's in a good one. I don't know.
We'll see how it plays out. Thanks, Gary. Some of the delivery.
But it is the thing where it's like, it's certainly not something I would suggest to someone to make their primary if they're just like a regular person, you know? Like, sure, there are people who like get really into it and are able to like make something of it, but it's not like I tend to say like, find something else that's like your primary source and it's then have it be like be like a secondary thing, you know? It's like a side thing that's like, look, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. That's probably how people should look at it if they're getting into it. Get rid of this way.
Good use of hands. Scott.
But it's certainly not how I was handling it. It's kind of at that place now, so I feel decent with it.
Greg Williams would have been proud of that.
Go over here.
Rosie. Drew should have taken the mark.
That's going to be Bulldogs.
Has it on a
oh!
What a hand pass. Jonas. Good kick.
Okay, cool. So where are we at in this game? We have started the second quarter. It is a 3-point. It is a 3-point game. Can they get the goal here? Am I into NASCAR racing? Oh, I kind of want to play like a NASCAR game.
Might be able to start something.
I do sort of want to. Like I haven't. I've watched since streaming. I found myself with the Formula 1 not really being able to watch it now. But like I do still watch the highlights for all the races, and like I did used to over the past few years watch basically every race of that. NASCAR, no. I don't know if it's just because they just go in a circle all the time. I don't know what exactly it is that I don't actually watch the races. But I do remember, I can remember when I was younger, there was like a NASCAR game I played, and it was because of, there was a place called Video Easy in Australia, and I remember it was there, and I just went, okay, let me go and like play that. So there's still like interest in NASCAR for me. Like a little bit. I remember, like I've gone on YouTube and watched people. Say a lot of people bet on those races. Yeah, I can see that. I'd imagine so. Lots of people bet on lots of things. Like it's crazy when it comes to like betting. Like you can bet on just TV shows. I remember making money betting on a reality TV show that if you watched it, like you pretty much knew who was gonna win.
A chance to clear now. Drew has a
it was kind of weird. Go over here. There you go with Ollie Lines. But like I remember, I've spent time on YouTube watching people like play the NASCAR games. I don't know if it's something I will get into. I could see that happening at some point if I played a NASCAR game, but I don't know that it would be something that I'm gonna go and like watch. Like I do remember, I would have not that long ago. I wouldn't have been too long ago, I don't think, where I would have actually watched like a NASCAR video, but it would have been like NASCAR videos of people dying in NASCAR, because there are like crashes of like what was it, Dale Earnhardt Sr. died in a crash like at the end of the race. What's my limit amount of money I would bet? I don't know if I'm going to answer that question exactly. Like, I'm not entirely sure what that limit would be. Like, I know at the moment, because I'm just like, I'm not like fully invested in it. I'm just like kind of chill, being like low stakes at the moment.
He's got an option in the center square.
But like I'd be willing to go higher on it.
They get another one?
I don't know what higher is supposed to mean, but like if you said, hey, would you be willing to place $1,000 on something? Depending on what it is, I probably would.
Read it well and intercepted it on center wing. Smith, he'll feel that one.
Like I know, yeah, I know that much.
At least it's close.
Come over there. That's with the port. But I don't like the idea of just like, I know people bet on like horse racing. I do not. I have always tried to stay away. I feel like I've only done that once. And like I wasn't that serious about it. And it's like the only time I've done horse racing, because it's just something that I'm like, look, it's too random and I don't understand it enough for me. It's like I know like it's very popular, and at least in Australia, like we have the Melbourne Cup that comes in like in November, that people like to be like, that's like the time when people are like, yeah, betting's actually really cool now. It's like the one day people are like, let's place a bet and stuff. Horse racing, I don't want to go near at all.
On center wing.
Go this way.
They cannot keep him quiet.
Because I don't want to just like, I don't like when it comes to betting, I don't want to do it where it's like complete random chance in terms of like completely saying it's too risky. There's a chance you might lose a lot of money. You can always lose lots of money on any stuff.
Smith, one step ahead. He's pursued.
It's just, oh, go this way. That's the port. Go. Yay.
But the kick is astray. One behind.
Like, I don't think that's something that's necessarily just when it comes to like betting. Like, you could spend like $1,000 on just a table, and you're like, oh my god, this table, let me spend $1,000 on it. And then you go find it and you're like, oh, this table's shit, you know? It's like there's always a risk that when you go and use your money on something, that you're not going to get what you want out of it. So there's a chance you could. So it's just about like what you're personally willing to go with and what you're looking to get out of stuff in whatever situation. It's not just a betting thing. But yeah, I don't like, you can return the table though. Depends what the situation is. It really depends what the situation is. Why does this dude go so slow? Like, I'm using it as an example. Like, I said table, but it was just meant to mean fill in the blank, you know? It wasn't meant to just outright mean table. It's just fill in the blank of thing you could spend money on. It'd be like saying, oh, maybe an example would be like, you could go on a date with a person, and then you spend money on it, and you're like, sorry, bad food there, can't do that there. That would be an idea, like, are you going to be able to get, like, your money back in a restaurant? Maybe, but, that's a boundary throw-in. What was I saying? Yeah, like, the things that I have bet on when it comes to, because they're sports, I like trying to have preparation in it, where I can like try and find patterns. Like that's generally my idea. When it comes to horse racing, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. You can return the date. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you know. I came for this date. I thought it'd be great, but I'm gonna have to return it to you. I'm sorry. I'll have to give you back the date. It's just not good for me, you know? Okay, come this way. And balls.
He's lost possession. Winds. Butters.
Mr. Lysette.
He shoots it goal.
Hey.
How's the kick? No good.
That was a promising build-up and deserved a better finish.
Back into play. Trelaw.
Okay, you get rid of this. Go this way. But yeah, when it comes to betting, I like just trying to find stuff where I can... It doesn't even work. The thing is, it hasn't even really worked the way I wanted to. I remember this past NBA season, I had graph on graphs on graphs on all these different players on all the teams. Doesn't help the way you want it to exactly, but it's like that's kind of the way I like doing it. 'Cause that was the thing. It's not even always necessarily the actual outcomes. Like, yes, you want the outcomes, you love the outcomes. Where is this commentary? It's back. The commentary is back, but it's like the process that I love, that I still do love. It's working out the bet, you know. It's doing the preparation beforehand. The actual process of it, I absolutely love it. I just wish the results were better.
Under great pressure. The ump calls for the footy close to goal.
Are you asking? I only bet on things I know about. I never do a blind bet. Pretty much. Like, it's very rare I'm just going to go ahead. Like, I'm not going to go to, like, a betting website and be like, I don't know anything about this. Let me just place a bet on it. It's very rare I'm ever going to do that. I don't... It's not what I'm looking to do. Because, you know, I don't... Because part of it is that, yes, I understand that what's happening in it is not it's like, I don't have an impact on the ultimate outcome of the situation. Like, it's up to the players that I'm betting on what's going to happen. But I want to feel, like, accomplished, you know? Rather than, like, I'm just guessing. Put it. Like, I don't want to be, like, playing roulette where I'm like, yep, red 27, like, with the way that I do it, it kind of, it makes me, like, if things are working or not, I feel like the outcome was also on me in terms of my ability to predict the situations and my preparation.
Drives it inside the forward 50. Winds.
No, get rid of it. Oh, damn it.
Not sure there's a poor opportunity there.
Maybe he could have gone in.
Gonna go. Who can you get? Who has it? Well, we're almost at half time here. We're about to hit it. Get rid of that. Oh, there you go. Mr. Burgerman. Very good. Okay, fantastic. So, we come into the second half. We got a 1-point game.
Let's head down to Gary Lyon on the boundary.
It hasn't been
I think,
so far.
Yeah. I don't know if I, like, have more to say on it right now, or if it's, like, time for, like, a different topic. I'm not sure. But
this match is there for the
it's actually, but it has been, like, quite
Thanks for those observations.
I guess a very influential part of my life. It's interesting seeing it, seeing my reactions to how things are going, and then going through the, oh my god, things aren't working well, out. But then being able to, like, do the mental gymnastics that I need to make sure that I want to keep going. That is a fascinating thing that I do notice in myself, that I have always noticed in myself as it's going through, because I actually like doing it, is that, oh, things aren't working well, oh, well, let me, like, just, like, think of, like, if you want to do something, like, this is the thing in terms of us as, like, psychology and just us as humans. It's not just a me thing. It's not just a betting thing. It's a thing in general. Of you're doing something. It's not really working out the way you want to, but you like doing it. So you will find whatever reason you can to convince yourself that you should keep doing it. I do notice that. We got DeRay in here. So can you... Oh, he's missed that one. I find that it tends to be like, if you can just, like, have other stuff on your plate that you can focus on. Like, it's not just a matter of, if you have, like, something that you consider a bad habit for whatever reason that is, it's not just... I don't think it, like, is good enough to just say, oh, just stop doing it. Like, sure, you can say that, but you're gonna like something has to take its place, right? So it's like if you kind of need something there to take its place. Oh my! What an amazing mark! You need something there to like take its place. Otherwise, it's like, well, are you really going to be able to kick this habit of yours if you have nothing to take its place? Get rid of this one. Mr. Rhines.
Quick kick towards centre half.
Handball there. Who can you get? Little kick. Keep going.
Gets a good bounce.
No, but it's a nice game so far. We have it tied up. There has been something that has been happening. Our games have been getting closer. They have been closer in recent times, and it's really nice to see.
This is promising.
Hey!
Great mark.
Little kick on.
Takes the safe option.
I think there's someone back there. There is Richard. Little kick on.
Can keep it moving. Drew read that one.
Inside.
Right off the boot.
Finlayson.
Kicks inside the forward 50. That's a strong mark.
He doesn't miss many, so you wouldn't think this would pose any problems.
Let's see. Okay, he should be able to score. That is just pretty much the thing. Will he get it the distance? He does get a point. So Port take the lead.
Minor score.
That passage of play deserved a better
get this kick.
Dale to bring it in. He's hit up
Good.
the lead towards the boundary line. Good thinking and good execution.
You're saying
too.
I motivate you to keep pushing for your dreams because you've burnt out a lot on streaming and uploading at one point. You were doing so good.
Dersma gathers on the forward flank.
Wait, I'm trying to read all. I'm trying to get to it all.
Only knows one way.
Get the Port in here. Ah!
His opponent gets his kick.
Oh, handball that way.
No easy exit. Got to get it out of there. He's caught.
You were doing it so much, you just stopped at one point. It wasn't like you didn't enjoy it. When I hear that, because I know that in my history, I've
read it well.
like this isn't like my first attempt at doing stuff. I remember back in like, it would have been like 2015-ish, around that time. It could have been earlier. I remember there was a Family Guy game and I had like a little camera and I just tried starting to record it. And like, so like my interest is from all the way back there. And even like maybe at least 4 years ago, I'm just going to say around then, I would have like made videos
just had to get it out.
on stuff, on little stuff. I do have those around there.
He's set upon.
So it's like I've had like my attempts and then like my giving up points. I think when I like hear that, I'm like, is like my first thought is like probably I'm just trying to. It's probably like an expectation thing towards like what the reality is. Oh, that's gonna be off there. It's like, do you know like what exactly your reason was, if you can think of like why you ultimately stopped? Like the first thing I think of is like, were there like not many people watching potentially? You were saying that you were doing good at a point.
That's an opportunity gone begging.
And then it was like, oh my god, I was doing this thing, but like I was expecting, maybe there was like an expectation that if you just did it, you might be able to like reach a certain height by a certain time, and that wasn't happening. And it was like, oh, there's actually like so much more effort that's required to be put into, like more energy. Like you were looking at the like the dollar signs. Not, it doesn't. When I say dollar signs, I don't just mean like money. I just mean like the fancy, the shiny stuff. You know.
This deserves a goal.
And then you got into it maybe. And it was like, there are things here that are like harder than I thought they would be. Mr. Norton, let's see what he can get in there.
That's offline. Didn't really give it a chance.
Okay then.
He'll be disappointed. That was one he would have expected to convert.
Danger here.
There we go with Mr. Lipper.
Wonderful quality, but not on a football field. Jones.
Artie Jones.
Go himself.
Hey.
Had his name written all over it.
He'll give them the lead if he can hold his nerve.
Okay, let's see with Trelaw. Let's see what he can get in here.
Goes long.
That's what they call a good old-fashioned clap.
What game? What? No.
He's been
what is that? What's happening?
Jones needs
what
help.
is happening?
Trelaw displaying great endeavour. Both gets back. Repel. Aliyah.
Keep it going.
Winds.
Oh.
Solid tackle. Duray runs onto it. He's besieged. Affects the turnover. Poor decision making there.
Go off this way.
They'll need to be more careful.
You're gonna have caught there. But yeah, I'm just trying to... It tends to be like the burning out and stuff. It's probably just a combination of like, what are we like focused on in that situation? Like, are we achieving what we're focused on? You know, and are we able to just move towards that? Like, if I was in here and was like, oh my god, I need to get like 1,000 people watching me, you know? I would have like burnt out so quickly of like constantly looking at the views and being like, oh, like so many people watching me, I have to stop. Like, that would totally happen. So like, because right now, because it's not like a huge focus on me, and I'm just like, if it comes, it comes. But for the most part, that's how I am. It makes it easier to actually like do the act of the streaming because I'm focused on enjoying my stream. I noticed that one. You're saying that wasn't the case because you're in contact with a streamer that pulls in 5k? Okay, so it wasn't like a viewership problem. And he would literally raid your streams, and you get some people that would follow you from there. There's just so many things going on that you haven't really been locked in. Okay, well, I'm not gonna like push you if you don't want it to like mention what those things are if you don't want to. Like, what is the... When I think of that, I'm like, is there a way of like talking about it without necessarily having to mention what those things are? If that's something that you don't want to do. Go over here. Get the kick down there. So it wasn't a viewership problem, and you're saying it wasn't, and it was that you liked doing it. So, in order to stop doing it, my guess is like, okay, so financially, you wouldn't have, I'm guessing you wouldn't have been getting what you would have, like, in an ideal world, that wouldn't have been happening. Because if everything,
Houston saves the day.
That is one thing that pops in my mind in terms of like the financial situation behind it. To say, well, because of other things that are going around, needing to like secure financial stuff, so then it would like drop off the stream to focus on other stuff. I see that in my head. It's like, is that a possibility of what was going on?
Johannesson, it's a desperate tackle.
Was it the type of content you were doing?
This will be a close thing.
Aye, there you go.
So often he provides great energy for them up front, and he's done it again.
Away we go once more.
I just have like different ideas running through my head of like, okay, so it's like, what do you feel like would have been missing in your mind from what you were doing that would then cause you to feel the need to like stop it? You're saying you've been stressed about family issues and your grandma going through chemo, and it's just been, so it's like the negativity from that situation as your like your emotional energy is over there, so then you feel like picking up maybe a controller or and like pressing that start on the streaming. You're just like, dude, I just can't do it. I just can't do that stuff. I can't focus my energy away from it for a bit. Don't get rid of that. It's the Port Adelaide.
Keith says thank you very much. Looking to extend this margin.
Yeah.
Takes an excellent grab. Lays it off.
Got the handballs over there. So it was right, so you're saying it was family issues, grandma going through chemo. Doesn't sound like an easy thing to go through. I've never had a chemo thing. But, yeah, it doesn't sound like an easy thing. I wonder if it's like harder for the person going through it or the person who are watching it, you know? Because it's like that's a different experience to have to go through that. Like, you would imagine it's like, yeah, it'd be harder for the person going through it. They're the one actually having it happen. But then, like, from like your point of view in that situation, you see it and be like, there's this person I know, and I know them one way. Now you're like seeing them in a completely different way that you're not enjoying. It's like, yeah, I can see that not being easy. So it's based on the family issues of why.
Two teams having a real crack. It has been a quality contest. It's time for some observations from Gary Lyon.
A boil over is well and truly on the cards, and the coaches.
Yeah, it just caused you to shut down from everything, but you can say that you're getting better. You made a new account, started off fresh.
You can't run any harder.
And you've been trying now. You're just at the bottom.
There'll be a few tired people walking
yeah.
off the field at the end.
I hear that and I go, like it sounds like, based on what I'm hearing, it sounds like, in spite of like the trouble that you're having like, with your grandma, and seeing that and how that's making you feel, that you're still looking to get back into it. You're willing to like start from the bottom of it. Which, based on why would you need to make a new account though? Is it just like trying to be interested in streaming for the sake of streaming, rather than you're about to hit Twitch affiliate on your old account? So what was the decision behind changing the accounts then? Is it just like you just didn't want the... Was it something about like my first... Yeah, I'm like curious on that. My first thought is about the people that would have been watching you and being like, oh, you don't want them seeing you? Is it something around there? Get rid of that. Oh, he didn't get rid of it.
To no one in particular. Turnover in the middle. This could hurt.
To the right, get rid of that.
Burns off the tackle. Well played.
Little kick.
Horn Francis.
And the Bulldogs.
Will be out in a minute. Conservative kick. Good work rate.
Handball.
Dale can run with the footy. The Power have denied them the corridor.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounded like that you were still looking to keep going with it, even at like smaller stage. So it's almost like you're taking like, or it'd be like dipping your toe back in the water before you like go back in the deep end. Is that like, does that sound right?
Managed to get a handball away.
Come get rid of this.
Ooh. Cruising tackle. They're going nowhere, and we'll have a stoppage near the centre. Finlayson has rucked tirelessly. Bergman.
You want to be an anonymous streamer. You don't want anyone to know your identity.
He's so getting close. Well done.
I can relate to that. Come get rid of it.
He won't be happy with that one.
Come get rid of this. That's what Adelaide handballs are.
It's no place for the faint-hearted.
So it sounds like it would be like, what would it be? No face cam in that situation. Probably. Most likely. It's like, is your voice up on it? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Just like getting used to doing the streaming for the sake of it.
With half a chance, that could be a goal.
Do you see yourself? But aye!
Up and away.
He'd almost have to fall over to miss from here.
It's still possible. Could you see yourself? Like, there's one thing that pops in my head is like, could you see yourself if you go through your baby steps? And like, okay, you get comfortable just streaming for the sake of streaming. People don't know who you are. Maybe you would like go back to the old account, or would you just kind of like keep going? You do a hand cam and a mic. That's the furthest you can go. And I remember hand mic for what? So is it like in terms of the types of games you play? That would be my imagination. Because I remember having someone early in this season, they had left a YouTube comment about, oh, could we maybe get like hand cam rather than like a base cam, because I was playing with the two controllers, so it's like, oh, to maybe see what you were doing. I was like, it made sense, I just didn't want to do it. Hey, there's a goal there. Because it makes me like, well, what games are you like playing in that situation? It's like something like with like a big controller going on. Because I know that those are, because I know like that happens. Yeah, you're saying like, yeah.
Running in support, attracted a crowd. The Power will have one eye on the clock.
I don't even know if this is accurate, but like my first thought was like a big like freaking board with like joysticks on it. Like where my head went with that. Like, oh my god, he's playing like Super Mario, like old school Super Mario things. And doing like speed runs on it. I don't know if you've ever seen speedrun stuff. I have no intentions of doing a speedrun because I'm not good at games. But I can enjoy watching speedrun content. Not on Twitch, not like actually like watching people do the speedruns necessarily. But like there's a YouTube channel who does content on it called Summoning Salt. Who have like videos on like speedrun things. They're actually very well done. They're incredibly well done.
Navigated the traffic.
Get that handball out of there, please. What was that with? That's the Bulldogs. You play on a mouse and keyboard, and you play games like Fortnite, Valorant. Okay, then.
Had his name written all over it.
So then it's like the hand cam would be there, so then people can be like, look, this is what's happening. This is where your hands are all moving all the time for it.
Goes at goal, and that is an opportunity gone begging.
The mark was terrific, but unfortunately doesn't count for
Okay, here we go.
the disappointing finish.
Quality delivery.
Little kick out there.
Burton, all on his
Mr.
own.
Burton.
Looking for some quick ball movement. The Dogs guarding the corridor. Liberatore intercepts on centre wing. Heads towards the half-forward flank.
Okay, there we go with Mr. Lyons. Handball in there.
Drew dishes it off.
Keep it going.
They've worked it
Mr.
well.
Finlayson.
Onto the non-preferred. They could be vulnerable here.
Because my guess would be like playing online as well, just based on the games. I mean, you'd also have to like. You think you're going to get into morning streams though?
Dangerous to leave on his own.
So what were you doing then? You're doing like evening stuff, going through nighttime? Like what's the reason for the change?
Poor hand pass there.
Wouldn't, like, if you're doing like online stuff, wouldn't you then like also have to change like your online ID if you wanted to like remain anonymous? Just on the off chance? Or is that like something that is just like, if it happens, it happens?
Gathers it cleanly on the wing. He's perceived.
Get rid of this. Got the Bulldogs. Mr. Port.
Full hand pass, truth told. He's given it straight to the opposition. Time to measure.
You did that already? Yeah.
Marks. Will he go the bomb? Kicks.
Yeah, I find myself, just timing-wise, it makes more sense for me to do like morning, afternoon streams. That's basically what I do. I start like late morning. It just lets me get, it just works for the day, you know?
Should have done better.
Because then we're able to get like the YouTube videos up. Like it all happens within that one day. It's just it just simplifies things. I got Mr. Jones. So yeah, if it's like that, hey.
Burn Jones tries to spike it out of the danger zone.
Brought this way. There you go. And might want to get the handball out there.
This might be a chance for the high flyers. Keith with the.
You don't want to end up known and random people seeing you and walk up to you. Yeah, that's a weird thing about celebrity, isn't it? Like we're just like so used to like celebrities being a thing. But like it's really weird that we like can see a celebrity walk up and be like, I've never met you before, but know so much about you. Hi, can I have like a picture and everything? I'm like, that would freak me the fuck out. So, like I don't. Like that's, and then it's like celebrities are just like expected to be like super cool with it all the time because it's like this is just the normal thing. Why would you like be so upset that I just want to like get something from you and everything? It's like I don't know you. Get away from me, weirdo! You freak!
Farms it out. English. You can see their confidence growing. Disciplined defense. Winds. Squeeze.
Like I can understand the idea to a point of like it comes with the territory stuff. Like if you're entering a world where Kanye gets so annoyed, I don't blame him. Like if you just have people you don't know just coming up to you, like I get that to an extent. Like when the world that you enter is something where it's like you're putting something into the public sphere, it's like your customers will come up, like you will come up to you, you know. Like I can understand it to a point, but it also gets like real freaky and it can get really weird.
That's almost worth a kick.
Go this way.
Francis. He breaks away and can pump it forward.
Yeah.
He's everywhere at the moment. Dale takes a potentially goal-saving
kick out there. Mr. Richards. It's looking like Bulldogs are going to get this win in this game here. Keep going. Oh, he's missed it. They missed the Scott. Keep it going.
He's wrapped up.
Go here. Is that goal? No. But not the accuracy. They needed to get that one right there. It was absolutely. Oh.
Daniel with the footy.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
Terrific forward pressure. English wins it back.
Mr. Dale. Okay, Bulldogs will get this win. Yeah.
Kicks to space.
Who can come get that ball? Handball. You just gotta kick it in there. They gotta do all they can here. Oh!
Judge the flight well.
Okay then. Mr. Richard. Move it on with the Dale. They're gonna be good there. Hi there, Petey boy. How are we? We're about to finish up the last game on the day. That's how we're going.
Second effort needed.
That's the Bulldogs. There you go.
Knew the tackle was coming.
But nice to see you. Welcome. Coming over here.
Johannesson. Good use of hands.
Okay, Port Adelaide. Go.
Might be time for one
this way. Can you go? Keep it, get the kicks. Someone's gonna get that. Kick it in there. That's Port.
Drives it deep.
And okay. There's not going to be any more scores for the game. It's going to be it. It's going to be the Bulldogs getting the victory here. Little kick. The final siren goes. And it's the Bulldogs getting the win here. Let's see what we had stats-wise. We had 2 goals for Marshall and Northern. It was Timmy English with the most. He had 39. And Liberatore had 38. Bergman's report has been getting like the most touches for them, like pretty consistently in recent games. Okay, a lot of Bulldogs players at the top of the marks. All right then, so it was the Western Bulldogs getting the win here. They beat Port Adelaide. It was It was 2 goals through Northern. It was 39 from Tim English, as well as 38 from Liberatore. They get the 13-point victory, 57-44.